Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to Connect Scholar. Today we are going to learn the components of research. I want to mention that we will be making dedicated videos on each of these components in detail. Let's take an example of introduction part, how to write introduction, how to write methodology. So we will cover everything separately as well. But today we're going to discuss all of these components and their subcomponents in a brief manner, so we can have an idea that how or what kind of things are part of a research. So let's get started now. First, I want to make this clear that research has to be conducted under guidance of a supervisor or maybe one or more supervisors, which will be known as co-supervisors. You alone can conduct research, or maybe you can conduct certain researches with your friends or colleagues. Researches can be short-term and long-term, depending on the duration and nature of your research, what type of study design you're using. Short-term researches can last for months and long-term researches can last for years. And this totally depends on your study design. Some researches can go on for 5 years, maybe for 10 years, and sometimes maybe 20 years. Let's get started with our topic now and understand what are the components of research. So the first one here is topic selection. So the first thing that you're going to do when conducting a research is looking for gaps. You will look for gaps. Maybe there's a kind of study that has been performed in a city nearby your city or in a city in some other country. You liked the concept of that study, you liked the study design, the methodology and everything else, and you felt that this kind of study was not conducted, has never been conducted in your country or your city. So this is the study gap, and you, if your supervisor agrees, would conduct research on this topic. You can follow similar methodology as the person whose article you are following or whose article you liked. Or maybe that similar study was conducted in your city or your town or your country, but it was not conducted in the same way as someone else did in some other part of the world. So that's also a study gap, that the study was performed with different methodologies, different patterns and different procedures. That's also a study gap. But study gap is not sufficient. You also have to make sure that that topic is aligning with your interests. Now, interests here can be academic as well. Maybe you're concerned with some specific subject and the topic that you liked is completely from a different subject or a different discipline. And interest here can also be your personal interest. Maybe you don't seem to be very passionate about a certain topic. So forcing yourself to do something that you're not passionate about is not going to be easy, because research needs so much dedication, so much passion, so much hard work, and it needs all of your attention. Since you're going to stick to that topic for the next few months or maybe for a year or maybe for 2 or more years, you have to make sure that the topic that you're selecting is something that your interests align with. Now, the next component is introduction. So introduction provides background information regarding your topic. For example, you are going to conduct a survey where you are trying to find out whether social support helps university students fight depression. Now, for that topic, in the introduction part, you will explain what is depression, how it affects people, how it affects students, especially university students, what is social support, how it helps people, and at the end of your introduction, you have to describe your objective or your aim. Now, there are a few things, basically 2 things that I want you to focus on. First is whatever you write in your introduction part, it must be taken from an authentic source, and you have to list that particular reference down in the references portion of your article. None of the words that you're going to use in your introduction have to be your own. They have to be from a certain reliable source. Secondly, for the references part, you have to follow a certain referencing style. It can be whether numbering or at all style, depending on your journal guidelines. Coming back to objective and aim of your study, this has to be mentioned in the introduction part, and it has to be a single precise line which will explain the study gap and what exactly you're going to do in your study. The third component is methodology. In this portion, we thoroughly explain everything that we are going to do to conduct our research. The subcomponents of methodology are study design, study setting or the place where your study is going to be conducted, study duration, inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, the method of your data collection, and the method by which your data will be analyzed. So you have to mention every single thing that will be used to conduct your study. Now, since you're following the study gap, you can use similar or same methodology as the article that you liked. You can follow the same pattern as someone else's, but you have to give a reference of everything. Moving on to the fourth component, which is results. In this part, we discuss all the findings of our study. It has to be discussed in detail. You can also use tables, graphs, charts to show the entire data. The next component is discussion. In discussion, we compare the results of our study with the results of other people. This part of research is something that can tell us the limitations of this kind of study and the strengths as well, which can help us in future studies. Next is conclusion. In this part, we summarize everything related to our result and discussion in a brief manner. It has to be a short, precise paragraph. This part of research actually tells us whether our hypothesis was proved correct or not, and whether there is a need for this topic to be studied more in future or not. The next is references. The citation can be done in different styles. It can be done in styles like APA, MLA, Chicago, Vancouver, and others. References can be in numbering pattern if you used numbers in your text above, or they can be in alphabetical order if you used at all style of referencing. The last component of research is the abstract. Although whenever you will read any article, you will find out abstract on the top of the research paper, but this portion is written at the very end of your study. Once all the result, discussion, conclusion, references parts are covered, only then we can write the abstract portion, because it's the summary of our entire research article. The subcomponents of abstract are background or introduction, objective, methods, results, conclusion, and keywords. Whenever we are in search of good articles, we never go through the entire article always. We always read the abstract portion of those articles. That's why the abstracts are very important and they have to be very precise, to the point, and impactful. Because of abstract, people go through entire article, and only then there are chances of your article being cited in their study. I hope everything that I mentioned makes sense to you. I tried to explain everything very clearly, but as mentioned, we will make separate videos on each of these components very soon. Our next video is going to be about topic selection. Until then, you can contact us on the given email address. If you liked this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Allah Hafiz.